Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And here we go, turning the page to another year.
Yes.
Happy
Into
New Year.
January and an exciting sports time. So.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's going to get rolling now.
You betcha.
It's going to get rolling. A little recap here on what happened last weekend. There were a number of holiday wrestling tournaments around the area, and some athletes did pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off with Northern Badger, up at River Falls. And overall team scores, St. Croix Falls was first with 341.2, and St. Croix Central was second with 318. But locally, the teams did really good overall. Marathon was sixth with almost 250 points. Cadott 15th with 114. NGL 16 with 108th. And Abby Colby 17th with 95. But when you drop with team scores, they drop them into division-wise according to school populations. In Division II, Marathon was third, Cadott sixth, NGL seventh. So really good team placings by all those. And Marathon had a heck of a tournament. At 106 and 113, they have the Underwood brothers. Taylor, a freshman at 106, was first, and Blake Underwood, his brother, was first at 113. So kind of it. And their dad, Larry, Craig Underwood, was a four-time state champion for Athens back in the day. So quite a family going there. So pretty good workout partners too there.
Guess.
Also for Marathon, Cale Quaintance at 126 was second. Dylan Benke at 132 was eighth. Swain Stencil at 144 third. Tate Sonnentag at 157 was third. And Grant Solpe at 165 was eighth. For NGL, they were led by Hudson Sebesta Opelt, who was first at the 150-pound class, Larry. And watching his matches, this kid was just dominant up there.
Okay.
His first four matches, and that takes you through the semifinals, were all technical falls. And I don't think he was hardly scored on in those four matches. And then in the finals, he took apart the number one seeded wrestler, Gabe Gerber, from Ladysmith 10-1, and just dominated that match. And so Hudson looking really good. I believe right now he's ranked second in the state in Division II at 150, and he is going to have a big year.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
Also for NGL, Chase Littner, sophomore, was 11th, at 132. Jake Luchterhahn, the junior from Loyal, fifth at 165. Nice tournament for Jake. And then Jackson Meyer, the 285 wrestler, eighth. So from Cadott, you had Caleb Lodahl was second at 120. And John Phelps was seventh at 150. Abby Colby was represented. Tristan Smalzel was fifth at 126. Alex Colby at 132 was 10th. And 138, Matt Jekyll was eighth. And at 190, Jacob Hoppy, a fine wrestler for them, was fifth at 190. So really good area representation up at Northern Badger. So.
All right. And, and Neillsville Greenwood Loyal, you just mentioned a few of those wrestlers, still pretty young.
Very young. Hudson is the only senior wrestling. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Littner is a sophomore, Luchterhahn a junior, and Jackson Meyer a sophomore too. So they've got things going, and they've got a nice turnout of kids, and they get some kids with some experience. Hopefully they can fill out most of these weights.
And they're going to get back into action January 9th.
Yeah.
Their
They are hosting a triangular at the field house with Bloomer Colfax and Stanley Boyd, so that will be their next appearance. So.
And that'll be their first conference match.
Yes, absolutely.
Of the season.
And that's how the conference runs, usually in triangulars or quads. So so it's most of these teams are co-ops, and a lot of them don't fill out the rosters with the 14 weights, so they usually package two or three of them all together and get them over with pretty quickly. So.
All right, so that's January 9th. Neillsville Greenwood Loyal with their first conference match.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of home matches, so this is a good chance to get out and see these kids wrestle, too.
And that will start at 5:30, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. So
not a 7:15 start like basketball.
No.
You might get there a little late.
Yeah. Okay, Larry, let's turn the page and go over to Bi-State at lacrosse. Again, very good representation by the area teams. Marshfield was, Chatfield, Minnesota was the overall winner with 257 points. That's a big deal, Larry. This is a 76-school tournament.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I should say there was I believe it was 45 at Northern Badger, which is a tremendous tournament. But Bi-State, 76 teams, and they're not just from Wisconsin, Larry. They come from Minnesota and Iowa, too.
Okay.
So Chatfield, Minnesota was the big one, 257 points. Marshfield 7th with 195. Stratford 10th with 176. Auburndale 11th with 173. Wausau West 24th. Stanley Boyd 47th. So these area guys really did a nice job down there when you start talking 10th and 11th out of 76. And these are Division III schools too, Stratford and Auburndale. So.
Now, we were talking about this around the table the other day, about wrestling. And does it make as big a difference in wrestling for, between the divisions?
No.
I mean, because Chatfield, Minnesota actually won the whole thing, but they were Division III.
Right, exactly. It just depends how good the 14 kids you put out there in that tournament. So,
yeah.
And, quite honestly, in Wisconsin over the years, some of the toughest competition has come out of Division II. You start talking Luxembourg, Casco, Amory the last couple of years when they had the Hopkins and a few others, they were probably the best overall team in the state. Marshfield's had some tremendous teams, but they've hit the wrong time in D1.
Right.
So, it just seems about depend on the 14 athletes you can put out there. So,
and again, these tournaments, team-wise, they split up into divisions, but as far as they're wrestling everybody.
It's one bracket, and usually most of them they give medal awards out to the 12th place. So, So, but,
all right.
Anyway, let's take a quick run through the Marshfield. Carter Wilquist, 11th at 120. Johnny Sternweiss, 2nd at 126, lost in the finals to a tough kid from Bayport. 157, Graydon Rohde was 8th. 175, a little bit of an upset here. Caleb Denny was 2nd, lost in the finals to Eli Leonard from Mount Horeb Barneville, 8-6 in the finals. Those two will see each other again sometime. Because that, depending where Caleb stays. He's wrestled 190 and 175.
Oh.
Who knows where he's going to wrestle. He won't know where he's going to wrestle till the morning of the regionals, probably. And then they had Brock Coffey. Their heavyweight finished 8th down there, which is nice. Stratford, pretty good representation, too. Colton Hopp, 8th at 106. Trenton Canoyer at 120 was 4th. Aaron Knetter at 132 was 12th. Carter Luke, who was number 1 ranked wrestler in Division III at 190, lost in the finals to Ben Keekenbaum from Kiel, 9-4. Kiel is a Division II, so I don't think Carter probably won't have to see him again. But And then Drew Gage was 12th for the Tigers. Auburndale had Carson Weiler at 113, finished 10th. Derek Goddard, their 120-pounder, finished 6th. Zaid Grassel, 126, 6th. And then Colton Weiler, their 150-pounder, was 1st. He defeated Brock Hindeman of Iowa Grant 4-1 in the finals, Larry. And, we just talk about who's the best. It's my belief that Colton Weiler is the best 150-pounder in the state of Wisconsin.
Any division. Okay.
So,
good for him. Yeah.
And also Stanley Boyd had Willie Graham, a junior heavyweight, finished 6th down there, too. And Marshall had a couple of girls down there, too, Larry. And at 107, Ava Gardner, who is a defending state champ, finished 1st. And then Erica Slesnow finished 1st at 126. So congratulations to those two for being bi-state champions. So.
Yeah. All right. Great. And we want to mention also up at the Northern Badger for girls, Izzy Sonnentag.
Oh, yes. I forgot Izzy. Yep.
Yeah, she finished 1st at 114. Yeah. And Tessa York of Cadott also 1st at 120. Yeah. So
Cadott does a nice job with their girls. Of course, you have an athlete like Izzy Sonnentag who, first of all, she has a Sonnentag name, but she's an outstanding athlete in other sports, too.
Right.
She's an outstanding track athlete, too. So
Okay. All right. So there you go. Some wrestling going on this past
let's
weekend.
Talk a minute about college wrestling for a second.
Go ahead.
This last weekend at Coralsville, Iowa, they held the 2024 Soldier Salute. And this with nice representation from some area grads around here. We'll start off with Stephen Buchanan from NGL. Stephen won the 197-pound title at this tournament. He defeated Aiden Sinclair from Missouri in the finals. And interesting here, Larry, Sinclair is a true freshman wrestling from Missouri, but he is a freshman from Milton, Wisconsin, and he was a 3-time WIA state champion too. So pretty good Wisconsin there.
Yeah.
Also, Blaine Brenner from Stanley Boyd, wrestling for the University of Minnesota, finished 3rd at 165 pounds. also wrestling but not placing was Sam Mitchell. And Sam is from Marshall, and he is now wrestling for the University of Wyoming. He had previously been out at the University of Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
And he is now wrestling in the 285-pound class, but he did not place there. So
Okay.
And then on the girls' side, Macy Kilty from Stratford, and of course, Macy's been around forever.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah.
But she is now wrestling for the University of Iowa, and she was second at the women's 145. So good area representation for the wrestlers around here.
Is Buchanan still ranked number 1 in the nation?
Yes, he is.
At 197?
Yeah, and undefeated on the season. So.
Okay. All right. And Iowa has the matchup with Wisconsin.
Yes, coming up
next weekend.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go out, that's a good chance to see Stephen wrestle.
Yep.
And I believe they're having that at the Kohl Center. I think.
Okay. That's January 12th is when they play.
I'm not sure. Usually they wrestle at the field house, but they might be moving that one to the Kohl Center. I'm not sure. So.
All right. Any more wrestling?
I think that does it. I didn't bring my on the water over to Oshkosh. Pittsville. I didn't see anybody really local that played. Pittsville was over there.
Yeah, they finished 56th as a team.
But that's a tournament that's up and coming too. It's, I'll tell you, there's 4 tournaments in the state of Wisconsin that really get my notice. You have I forget the one at Whitewater now. I believe it's the Midwater Classic or so. But this On the Water Classic at Oshkosh has been growing big time over the last couple of years.
I see Coleman was a top team over there, and they're always good.
There's a headliner right there. You get Coleman to go there.
That's right.
So nice and close to home for them, too.
You bet. All right, let's switch gears to boys and girls basketball as we kind of get you updated as to where teams are as we head into the new year. We'll first take a look at the WisSports.net coaches poll, which came out this week. Actually, yesterday or earlier today, maybe, or I don't know.
Tuesday usually comes out.
Okay, yeah. So week 5 of the poll comes out. Pewaukee is the top team in Division 1.
Pretty interesting, though. They got a loss over the Christmas time.
They did.
They were down at a Christmas tournament in Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Pewaukee was?
Yeah, and they got beat by a team from Florida, 89-45 down there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But they rebounded to beat another team from Florida in their other matchup. Wow, I didn't think anybody could beat Pewaukee that bad because they are tremendous, but just shows you there's some pretty good girls basketball in other parts of the country.
Yes, indeed. All right, Division 2, Wauwatosa East is the top team there. In Division 3, it's Laconia.
Yep.
I believe those girls are all seniors now.
Are they? They seem to come in waves. Every time Neil, we see them in the state tournament. It seems like they got 2 new freshmen playing.
It does seem that way.
But Elk Mound's 7th over there too, Larry.
Yes.
So pretty good area team in D3. So
the Prairie School is the top team in Division 4, and Neillsville stays at number 5 this week.
Yeah.
Regis at number 8.
Yeah, and you look at Neillsville sectional. Cuba City, Neillsville, Aquinas, and Bangor all ranked in the top 10 there. So it's going to be a very tough section.
As it was last year.
Yes, it is.
Division 5, Assumption is the top team there. Yeah. Only really the area team that's ranked in Division 5.
Yeah, and we will see Assumption in Neillsville not too distant future. So
February 3rd, I believe, is what I said
that should be a dandy at the field house. So.
You bet. All right, so that's girls. On the boys' side for the poll, we have not a lot of area teams in the poll.
No, it's pretty thin. You start at D1, not much there. Wisconsin Lutheran is the top team, by the way.
Yeah.
And De Pere number 2. In D2, you got Nicolay as the number 1. Then you go Wausau West at 7th, Mosinee at 10th. So
Wausau East.
East, yeah. Okay.
That's all right. I just don't want anybody to think, Wausau West.
Yeah. Well, if they dropped in population.
They're up and coming.
Yeah. Milwaukee Academy of Science is the top team in D3, but they lost to De Pere at the Rick Majoris shootouts.
Yes, they did.
So.
And then Bloomer is ranked 10th, of course, from the Western Clore Belt in Division 3.
Yeah, Bloomer, we have thought pretty much that they would be the top dog over in the western part this year. So.
And probably will be at the end of the year.
Yep.
Mineral Point, Division 4, and then Stratford, number 5.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Larry, I don't understand how Auburndale's not getting any mention. That's a good ball club we saw the other night.
We saw the other night, yes.
Yeah, that is a very good ball club. So it's I know they've got 1 loss, but there's teams with 2 losses in that, and it doesn't seem like they're getting much respect. But I think Coach Weinfortner wouldn't mind it staying that way too.
Yes,
Play a little bit under the radar. So
Well, we'll see. We're going to get into this in just a little bit, looking at some of the conferences, but maybe once they start playing some of those conference opponents.
Absolutely. They're going to have head-to-head matches with Stratford, Marathon, Assumption, all good teams.
And Assumption's their only loss this year.
And they'll be looking for some revenge there, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Sheboygan Lutheran, the top team in Division 5. And how about Loyal staying at number 3?
Still at 3-0, 8-0. Very convincing win over Roswell. But, I still go back. They beat Nielsen on the 20th on a rescheduled Friday night in a tough game, 54-50. Got in a bus the next morning and drove down to the Dells and beat a one-loss Randolph team 47-40. So I think this team is going to go a long way. Very, very tough sectional they're involved in, though. Alma Center Lincoln is over there, Blair Taylor, and then on the other side is the number 2 ranked team. I forget who that is right off the top of my head.
Well, let's see. Number 2 ranked team in Division 5, Royal?
Royal, yes. They're on the other half of their sectional. So.
Well, there you go. Royal against Loyal.
Wouldn't that be something, huh?
We'll see what happens down the road.
That's a dream matchup. Huh?
That's Joe Anderson's old stomping grounds down there.
Yep, Joe Anderson, a graduate down there. So,
Loyal coming into this new year now is number 1 in the Eastern Clover Belt. They're 3-0. Then you got Neilsville at 2-1, Owen Withee at 2-0, and Colby and Columbus Catholic both 1-1. So there you go. It's already tightening up. We're just 2 games in.
Look at the schedule for next Tuesday, Larry. Columbus Catholic at Loyal. We'll see. That's going to be another test for the Greyhounds right there.
And Owen Withee is at Spencer.
Yes, another good game. So, and we talked about this numerous times already. Every night there's going to be 2 to 3 good games in that conference every night. So
you bet.
So
Regis and Fall Creek in boys basketball as well next Tuesday.
Yep.
And you're making your debut on Zaleski Sports
I am.
as the lead broadcaster.
And I said, I got to thinking about this after I did that. I said, last year when we did Gilman, there were a couple of names I could not pronounce. I said, I'm going to have to do some work on that one, or else I'm going to have a lot of calls from Gilman coming my way. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I've done it for wrestling, but and you can't compare basketball to wrestling, but we'll see. I'll have fun with it. And
so Dick on the lead.
If Zaleski doesn't want me to do it anymore, I will understand.
Gilman and Neilsville boys next Tuesday. The girls, by the way, are going to be at Regis that same night.
Yes.
So I will be up there.
And that's where you bet. And then tomorrow night, they're over at Fall Creek. So the girls have not played since the 20th of December, so 2 weeks. So we'll see if they've got a little rust on you. Normally they played in a Christmas tournament, but they have none done. I'm sure John Geyer's had them working out pretty good.
I'm sure. So Neilsville Fall Creek girls tomorrow night. You can hear that on 92.7 WPKG, and then on Zaleski Sports, Marathon, and Neilsville boys.
Yeah, they won't get back to their conference game till I believe Friday. I think Thursday or Friday.
For the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, girls are at Colby on the 9th.
Yeah, so that'd be next Friday. So.
Yep. All right, next Thursday actually.
Okay.
The boys play on Friday.
Yep.
Against Owen Withee at Owen. So that'll be a good game too.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Some good ones are coming up.
Yeah, and up at Owen too. So,
right.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough job there.
We talked about the Merriwood South Conference, where you've got Stratford and Auburndale both at 4-1, and then right behind Marathon and Assumption at 3-1.
Yeah. And that's just going to be a slugger. I said about the only team I feel bad for is over there is Newman.
Newman 0-5, and they weren't that long removed from being at state.
They're in a little bit of a drought right now, and they were always the top dog at 8-man football, and they were state champs there for a couple of years running. But sometimes that well goes dry in a small school, Larry.
Yes, it does.
So
on the girls' side of that, Merriwood South, you've got Stratford and Assumption both unbeaten. Stratford 6-0 and Assumption 5-0.
Stratford girls kind of flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
You start talking about Assumption, but Auburndale girls also pretty good. They were very young last year when they played Neilsville in the regionals, and I think they'll be tough too. So
yeah, you got 4 teams there. Is just the same. Stratford, Assumption, Marathon, and Auburndale on the girls' side, and at Merriwood South that are very good. And then you go to the Wisconsin Valley Conference, and both the boys and girls from Marshfield doing well
Yeah.
in the conference. Their overall records probably don't look, but
They have played some
They've played
nasty
some good.
non-conference
Yeah.
schedules.
Yeah.
I know their girls have it, and then their boys went down to Florida
yeah.
during the Christmas break. I don't know how many teams were there. They got a plaque for fourth. I don't know. We talked about maybe that was just a consolation plaque or something like
Yeah.
that. But anyway, they went down there, and that's kind of neat. First of all, it's kind of a reward for the kids,
Right.
and then secondly, go down there and face some tough competition too. So
You bet. All right. So that's kind of updating on what's going on in boys and girls basketball as they will get back into their seasons here. Some tonight, but a lot of them are getting back in tomorrow night.
yep, a couple games tonight, but
Yeah.
So
All right. So there we go with that.
let's run through the hockey quick, Larry.
Yeah, you bet. Not forget
Boys
the
hockey, the Black River Falls Co-op had 3 matches this weekend over in Wapaka. I think it was a round robin tournament. Anyway, they won all 3 matches pretty handily over there, and they are now 7-3 on the season. Wyatt Hanna from Neilsville on the weekend had 2 goals and 1 assist, and for the season now he has 6 goals and 3 assists on the season. So
Good for him.
Ryan Magnuson from Neilsville, 3 goals and assist on the weekend. He has 6 goals and 2 assists on the season. And Zachary Magnus has 5 assists on the season. So these local boys for Neilsville are doing very, very
Yeah, they
well.
are.
So,
Yep.
and they're talking about getting the Clark County hockey thing going again out there. And these 3 boys came through that. So,
Oh, yeah. Yes, they did.
but
Yep.
Anyway, the boys hockey team, they will host Hayward tomorrow night at the Milt. So,
Okay. All right.
and then on the girls' side, they were at a tournament this weekend. They were 1-2, and they are now 6-2 on the season. And tomorrow night, they are down at Baraboo to face Badger Lightning. Jordan Berg from Granton on the season, 2 goals, 2 assists on the season. And Clarissa Canfield from Neilsville has 2 goals and 2 assists on the season. Both doing very well, too. So,
Yes.
so-
Yes, indeed. All right. So there you go. Good stuff from the local athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Doing well.
Everybody's staying busy.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right. Speaking of staying busy, the Packers have 3 players on the Pro Bowl roster. They
Yes.
just named those.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, and Rashawn Gary are
Yeah.
all on the first team.
Pretty good stuff there. So, and McKinney, he has just been a stout back at the safety. Jacobs, what can you say about him? No, he's just been the man.
He's
at
been the
running
man.
back, so,
Jordan Love is a alternate.
yep.
A few
Not
other guys are
surprising.
also alternate.
Not surprising because he hasn't been one of the top quarterbacks in NFC, but he's been right there. So.
Let's see. Who's got the most? Detroit has 7.
I would say
Minnesota
Detroit
has 6.
and say those 2 should have the most. So,
Philadelphia has 6.
yep.
Kansas City has 5, but Patrick Mahomes is not on the list.
No, he's not the best quarterback in the AFC this year.
No.
You got to start with Josh Allen and then Joe Burrow, people like that, and Lamar Jackson. All those 3, Larry, are having better seasons and I think you throw in Mr. Herbert too at Sandy with the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
I think all 4 of them are having better seasons. Patrick Mahomes, though, has probably made more big plays to have his team win than anybody.
Yeah.
But we talked about this last week. They've only scored 30 points in 1 game this year.
Yeah.
You know,
And they've had a lot of close games.
yeah. And I said the only other teams that are with them in scoring are teams like New England and Carolina.
You're right.
Probably
Yeah.
the Jets.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So
But they're winning.
yeah.
They're winning.
Yeah, so they're going to be right there. There's no ifs, ands, or what about that. So
Yeah, and of course, Packers have the Bears on Sunday at noon. I guess if they win and Washington loses,
yeah,
you go to the 3 seed instead of the 2 seed. But
yeah, and I don't know. The 3 seed is going to be the LA Rams. You're going out there. The 2 seed is Philadelphia. I guess if it was up to me, I'd rather have them go out to LA. They've beaten the Rams already, but the Rams did not have Cooper Kupp that day.
yeah,
either.
they're a different team
And
now.
right now, the Packers secondary is not in great shape. And if the defensive line doesn't get more rush than they did last Sunday, I believe they had 1 sack on Sam Darnold, but they did not get in his face all day. So, and it came out yesterday. It looks like Jair Alexander is having surgery and he's done for the year. So, and that kind of throws, that means you got to take your slot corner and put him out corner. So, and they're playing a lot of young people back there. So,
But they've played without Jair for several weeks now.
Yeah, Jair is hardly played this year, it
No.
seems like, and last year either. But some people are going to have to step up. Javon Bullard at the safety position. They need, I forget his name, Evan Williams to come off. He's a good slot corner.
Mm-hmm.
Carrington Valentine is playing very well. So, but they need to get more rush out of their front line. And Jeff Hatley is not a big blitzer, but somehow I think he's got to start doing something with his linebackers to get more rush on the quarterback. Sam Darnold was pretty much had a day back there with nobody in his face. And when you've got receivers like Sam Darnold does, and you're going to see that against Philadelphia and LA Rams, or even Tampa Bay, whoever, or even Atlanta, whoever you're going to face, they all have great receivers. And if he's got time to stand back there, he's going to pick you apart.
Right, yeah. Any NFL quarterback with time is going to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So what do you think about the game Sunday night now? Minnesota at Detroit.
I like the way Minnesota is playing. Detroit a little banged up in their defensive backfield. But I'll tell you what, I don't put Detroit at home. I just
that's going to be quite a game.
Yeah, I just think this is going to be the best game of the year. I'm going to say Detroit wins it by a last-second field goal. So,
okay, yeah. And then the winner gets the number 1 seed
and a bye, which is going to be big for the Lions because who knows? There's been a lot of rumors about Aiden Hutchinson if he can get back for the playoff.
Wow.
And a couple others. If they can get some of these guys back, that'd be big. But I'll tell you what, Minnesota is playing at a very high level right now. Very high level. But you said both games against the Packers, they jumped out to huge leads.
Yeah.
And both games, the Packers came back and just almost had opportunities to win both games. So
that's the only thing that, if I was a Viking fan, that would trouble me a little bit, is how they let teams back in.
And their defensive backfield is the weakest part of their game right there. I mean, Harrison Smith has been a great player. Harrison Smith is 35 years old.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Yeah, but their corners are fairly young and inexperienced. And I'll tell you what, Detroit, Ben Johnson, comes at you with a lot of stuff. So
yeah, that'll be a cat and mouse game there. Johnson against Flores.
Oh, yeah. And there's a good chance both those guys could be head coaches next year.
Could be.
But I'll tell you what, if I was their respective teams, I'd rewrite those contracts and keep them both there. Ben Johnson turned down a Washington job last year.
Well, I would too.
Yeah, and he knows what he's got there, and
right.
And with what he's got every year, he's going to. And I think Brian Flores is going to be the same way. So
now the question comes: if they go to the Super Bowl, then what do they do?
Right.
You made it that far.
Yeah, and there's always a window. It seems like it always works good for the teams with the bye. Their coaches have that time to interview maybe a week off.
Yeah.
Whereas the other teams have to go right back to work. So and these teams are in a hurry to get guys in place. I mean, you look at the Jets.
Yeah.
They've already interviewed Ron Rivera and Rex Ryan.
Right.
I don't have a problem with Rex Ryan, but I don't think Ron Rivera is the answer. But
not to change that culture.
And it's a crazy question. Because they have not even hired a general manager yet. Yeah. And if I'm a general manager, you get back to her, I want to pick my own coach. But the Jets operate a little different than most teams. So,
then the case comes when, either Minnesota or Detroit, whichever one loses, they're going to have to go on the road and play a playoff game.
Yeah, they're going to either Atlanta or Tampa.
That's unreal.
Yeah. And it's not going to be easy against either one of those teams.
No, but it's still the fact that
it's not right.
Yeah, with your record like that, you got to go on the road.
I do not have a problem with the division chance being in the playoffs, but I do think you should be seeded to be record. But the NFL's thinking they want a division, they have to be rewarded some way.
You like the NBA?
Yeah.
The NBA, you can still win your division, but they still seed them.
Yep, 1 through 8 or what is it?
Yeah,
the
best
conference.
records. The best records get the top seed.
I don't often say the NBA gets it right, but they got that one right.
They got that one right.
Yeah, they do. No,
some of the other stuff.
And football should take a lesson because you got 3 teams from the same division, which the Green Bay Packers have 4 losses from that division this year, and it's just they're going to be in the probably good chance they're going to be the 7th
seed. Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, speaking of, did they get it right or didn't they? The college football playoff quarterfinals were played.
Yeah.
And so far, the teams that were the higher seeds are getting knocked off.
But I'll tell you what, I said, and that goes back to what we just talked about, the division winner. Arizona State and Boise State got the 3rd and 4th seeds because they were a conference champion. So college football, by our theory, did not get it right either.
Did not get it right either.
And it to me, it showed Penn State against Boise State.
Yeah.
Penn State, But I'll tell you what, I give Arizona State credit yesterday.
Yeah, that was a good game.
I told my wife when it was 14-0, I said, well, this one's not going to be much. But I'll tell you what, that running back from Arizona State pretty much willed them back in that game.
Yes, he did.
And, I said, other than, I think, and I give credit to Texas, down to a 4th down and got the winning tying touchdown. But, there was a targeting call that I thought should have been called there too,
Well, what helped there, I thought, was the fact that Texas then doinked the field goal after
absolutely.
that. So it kind of saved that a little bit.
Well, I said, here's a kicker. He's the all-time record holder at Texas for field goals, and I think he's made like 177 extra points in a row. And he the 48-yarder, which can't, it's pretty good. It went wide right, but I think the next one was in the 30s and he doinked it. He really overcompensated for that other one. Though, So, but it was a pretty good game. But I guess the shocker, how Ohio State came out against Oregon.
That was a disappointing game.
Yeah, I thought Oregon had more in the tank there than they did. Ohio State just came out with everything blazing, and Oregon just didn't have anything resistance whatsoever. So
they got touchdowns late, but that was a blowout.
Yeah, it was 28-0 before or 31-0 before they even blinked. So
I'm sure ESPN loved that.
Yeah. Yeah, Granddaddy and Law was not supposed to be like that.
A lot of channel searchers after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was disappointing, and then, of course, with the Notre Dame Georgia game being canceled, that was it for football. So
right.
If you wanted to watch football, that was it.
Yeah, and I didn't watch any.
No.
After it got to be 31-0.
That was done for me. I can find something better to watch than that. I'll find a good movie,
Which I did. So the last quarterfinal will be played this afternoon, the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, of course, delayed till today because of what happened in New Orleans early Wednesday morning. It's a 3 o'clock start now for Georgia and Notre Dame today.
Yeah, and the winner of that game, Larry, faces Penn State next Thursday at 6:30
in the Orange Bowl. What do you think about the Cotton Bowl?
That's going to be a good one, but I'll tell you what, Ohio State is red hot, Larry.
They are playing very well.
And I saw some things on defense from Texas that I'd be very worried about with that Ohio State offense coming in there. So,
it'll be on Texas, pretty much a home field.
Yeah,
for them.
they should have home field. I believe that's played at Jerry World, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the Cotton Bowl.
They don't play at the old Cotton Bowl.
No, they don't.
Okay,
No.
So.
There is one other game tonight, the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. Okay. Duke against Ole Miss at 7 on ESPN.
Ole Miss, good team to watch.
And I'm assuming that's why they put that the game, the Sugar Bowl at 3 because they had a game already scheduled at 7 tonight.
Well, and then I think another thing too, Larry, with everything that's going on in New Orleans, it's probably best to play that game during the day.
Yeah, you're right.
I said at least games should be over by 5 or 6 o'clock. Pretty much, at least you should be able to handle that. And I think that's part of it too, probably. But hopefully everything turns out right in New Orleans because you know what, they got another big game coming up there in February, the Super Bowl.
So
a lot coming.
Yeah, if you're planning to go there, you're probably gonna be some big time security issues.
Yeah, it brings up a lot of things too. What about you talk about security? Okay. That's got to concern the Packers, too, with this draft coming up. There's going to be 500,000 people in Green Bay. What if some nut tries to drive through Titletown with a car or something like that? Hopefully, everything is taken care of there. So
Speaking of the Packers, one other thing. I just heard this today. They could be playing Pittsburgh in Ireland next year.
Yes, I heard that this morning, too. So.
No confirmation on it, but that's the word out there. We'll see.
Yeah, Brazil 1 year, Ireland another. They fended off playing over abroad for a long time.
Yes, they did.
Now I think the NFL is getting back to them for it.
They're looking at Jacksonville. And they're saying they're making their home in
London.
Right. Yeah. Let's get somebody else over there.
Yeah.
They've been over there long enough.
Yes, that's right. So,
all right. Anything else you want to get to
I think
this
we
morning?
got it all, Larry.
All right. We solved
one
the
of
world's
these
problems.
days I'll get back to where are they now? So
okay, yeah, we'll get back. No problem. Yeah, we're the last 2 weeks we've been
just
kind of
a lot of results, and I'll tell you what, the results are going to be coming because I'll tell you what, every week there's going to be a lot of games, and now you get heavily into the wrestling invitationals and stuff like that. So it's a great time for local sports right now.
You bet. You bet. It starts again tomorrow night. We have Neilsville at Fall Creek. Great girls basketball game. 7:15 on 92.7 WPKG. And the boys basketball team will host Marathon at the Fieldhouse.
Yep.
And that one on ZaleskiSports.com.
Yep. And I believe Steve Maves is covering that one, I believe.
No, I think it's another guy that covers Marathon up in that area.
Dan Ross.
I think his name is. Yeah. Does a good job.
Yes, he does. So
watch that and listen to the girls' game as well.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, that'll do it for Two Guys on Sports for this first show of 2025.
Here we go, another year, Larry.
I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again later.